Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear it for Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been, we will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes.
Do you think that worked? No, Rita, of course I think that worked. The senator, this is Jerry McCabe, Brian. Of course I think that worked. Works for
the senator
making magic happen. Brian Kent, and the senator is appearing in a ghost form, a spirit form.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So who is here today to explore the superpower of Integris Influence? Bella Verita? Yes.
First up, from Rayersford, PA, a financial services representative working with businesses as well as professionals and executives with personal financial advice, guiding clients in risk, tax, finance, insurance, and legacy management and planning, numerous qualifications, certifications, and awards with a degree in communications, former Division I minor league baseball player, and a board member for the Children's Fund. Let's welcome to the show, Chris Bellin.
Chris, welcome to Brian Kent's Heart of Influence. Appreciate you. And by the way, where'd you play baseball?
I was a little crosstown rival from you, Sean. I played over at St. John's University.
No way.
Yeah, there's a shrine of you on our campus, apparently.
What year did you graduate?
We're going there already? Jeez. Yeah. 2001.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm older than you. So I'll give my fun fact later that will connect all this up. This is super fun about St. John's and like crime, crazy fun fact. But please, your fun fact, it's a headline, not a story. Please, what is your fun fact for today that would make us, because by the way, Chris, Plato, the Greek philosopher, a dear friend of Bella's, she is a little bit older than she looks, said, play a game with me for an hour and we will learn more about each other than if we speak for a year. So kick this game off with a headline, fun fact, adventurous moment, proud moment, surprising moment, shocking moment, anything that will make us say, Chris, no way. So what's your no way headline fun fact?
I will do a little combination. Fun fact, I was a cancer survivor, and I was drafted by the Kansas City Royals in the 22nd round after my graduation in 2001.
That is super cool. Well, super cool fun fact, Chris. Thank you for being here. Bella Verita, don't let me forget Kansas City Royals. And a super cool fun fact about St. John's baseball.
You definitely will not forget about Kansas City Royals. I will forget about reminding you about Kansas City Royals, but you won't forget about Kansas City Royals.
All right, let's go.
Let's go to Philadelphia, PA, Senior VP specializing in claim relationship and strategic resolution, managing high exposure claims across multiple offices, proven expertise in business development, executive level partnership and talent recruitment and insurance, distinguished legal background with prestigious law firm, recipient of a pro bono award and recognized as outstanding young alumni and risk management. Let's welcome to the show, Cassidy Starkey.
Cassidy, welcome to Brian Kent's Heart of Influence. Thanks for being here today, and please, your fun fact.
Thank you. So I had to audible because it felt more like a story. I was going to tell what I think is a story about how I wanted to be a fisherman from the time I was in first grade, but I thought a little bit about Bella's comments about names, and I thought mine would be very confusing. And then I also thought about Brian and his proud Irish heritage. And I oftentimes get, especially from Irish folks, wow, what a unique name. And it must be your Irish heritage. And my parents will sort of admit to that half-heartedly, but the reality is they're both like retired hippies, and I believe that I was named after a Grateful Dead song. So that's my fun fact.
Cassidy, I love it, appreciate it, and I'm feeling the Brian Kent level energy, heart, and wit fully present from this crowd. Belvrita, let's go.
I am feeling the wit. Next up from Wichita, Kansas, Texas, owner of a martial arts academy with her husband has helped tens of thousands of children, adult achievement, personal development, and increased confidence, co-leads Men Ministry, a personal self-improvement program, and faithfully serves each week at her church. Finally, president of a nonprofit providing free state-of-the-art training, coaching, equipped to heroes saving humans from exploitation and slavery. Let's welcome to the show, Crystal Elmore.
Crystal, even as the words coming out, they just fill the heart like woof. Thank you for that. Crystal, no way. And your fun fact.
All right, my fun fact, we own and operate a knife making company, and we've had several knives and knife designs and other things on TV shows like NCIS LA and Chance on Hulu. So that's my fun fact.
Crystal, do not let Bella have any of these. Thank you very much. And
custom knife.
Yes.
I can make all kinds of things I would like to engrave on it and like just keep it like whenever you start getting mouthy, I can just like put it on the desk.
Yes. Thank you. That would make me feel so uncomfortable. I can't even describe it, but please.
Yes. Next up from Chicago, Illinois, CEO of a durable medical equipment company providing patients, clients with the latest tech education, resources in comprehensive therapy and care for clients managing lymphedema and vascular disorders in the industry for training relationships, complex space, working with experts to resolve any challenge in this complex space. Let's welcome to the show, Joey Rapine.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Joey, welcome to the party. Great to hear your voice, and please, your fun fact. How you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing? It's been a while. My fun fact is that was an amazing bio written, number one. Number two, my fun fact is, surviving a horrific accident back in my early 20s has enabled me to, capture all of God's grace towards me and to aligning all things in my life towards contribution. So that basically has been my driving force since then, all the way through to Tony Robbins. Platinum year all the way through to where we are right now. So
awesome.
I'm extremely grateful to be on this
Joey,
planet.
Yeah, appreciate you. It's outstanding human right there, and super thrilled to reconnect. Welcome to the party. Belvrita, who's following up Joey?
Following up Jody, there's a man that brought these people together.
Wait, he's recovered from the Philadelphia Phillies?
I don't know if he's recovered, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
From Philadelphia, PA. And I heard a song this morning, Streets of Philadelphia. That was
People are bruised and battered on the streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bruised and battered on the streets. A former sex crime prosecutor and clerically abused survivor, received the National Center of Sexual Exploitation Civilian Leadership Award. Founding partner at his law firm, led a team focused on representing crime victims, particularly survivors of sexual abuse. 20 plus years of experience, work on high profile cases, and secured hundreds of millions in settlement for child abuse survivors, a recognized attorney, top 100 in Pennsylvania, and a national trial lawyers, holds a master's in law and child advocacy, and actively volunteers for child advocacy initiatives. Let's welcome to his show, Mr. Brian Kent.
I was going to go into the trenches with somebody to protect, to serve, to create impact. It would be with Brian Kent. So Brian, brother, warm welcome to your Heart of Influence, and please, your fun fact.
Thank you, Sean and Bella. Fun fact is I was having, I think, a dinner or a drink with Joey Rapine on here, and I said, yeah, I met this like crazy guy. He's like a blind lawyer. He surfs and skis and scuba dives, and he's like, wait, are you talking about Sean Callagy? And then he proceeds to show me a video, I think, from like 2019 Callagy Law's Christmas party. So you talk about a small world and how Philadelphia is the center of the world. But yeah, no, that's my fun fact, is that, you know, having been connected to both Sean Callagy and Joey Rapine without ever knowing that could ever happen. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And it is a super fun, cool connection. And when Joey was there, it may have just snowed indoors. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Brian. And Brian, shall we do the things?
We have one more. We got Chris McMullen on here too.
Oh, did
Yeah, let's go.
perfect. Thank you. I apologize, from Philadelphia, PA. Spent 10 years at an insurance defense firm representing clients in small to large civil complex litigation, an expert understanding of personal injury, including wrongful death, sexual abuse, medical malpractice, and so much more. Was named a fellow at his school's Public Interest Law Honor Society as an attributes of hundreds of cases in Commonwealth and private our attributes, I said, are arbitrated hundreds of cases in the Commonwealth and private arbitration. Let's welcome to the show, Chris McMullen. If I can kill you, but I don't mean to, is that wrongful death?
Brian, help. Yes, Chris, help. Chris, welcome to the party. Congratulations on all of your impact and success. And please, your fun fact, Chris.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here. I suppose my fun fact would be that in my early 20s, I moved all the way to South Korea and ultimately met and later married a woman from Canada. So travel a long way and not go too far away from home.
That's a super cool fun fact, Chris. Love it. Appreciate that. Chris, you're gonna have a little bit of fun today.
I sure hope so.
I hope so too. So, in that vein, let me introduce the woman seated to my right, who began her career in influence as an 8-year-old selling crafts on her parents' front lawn. Then, at the age of 19, she put 3 words together: teenager, 7 figures, and network marketing. That don't go together except for Belvrita. 24, 25, and 26 years old, she was repeating, but like Jordan, except not in hoops, but as the #1 business broker in the male-dominated industry of Nevada business brokerage. She was the first woman ever to be Nevada's #1 business broker, and the youngest person in 24 ever to be #1, whether male or female, let alone 3 straight times. She's an entrepreneur and a trainer of Fortune 500 companies. In fact, in 2019, every sales team she worked with doubled their sales. Skier, surfer, scuba diver in the most extreme of conditions. Maybe she learned it from a blind man, or maybe from YouTube. I think right now it's blind man, but YouTube depends upon the hour and her mood. She's also a philanthropist that raised 8 figures with the Unblinded team in 2022 and 3 for charity. And in 2023, this heart-centered woman that put the heart in the heart of influence publicly battled and defeated cancer. Let's welcome to Brian Kent's Heart of Influence, the one and only Bella Vrita. Dugout. He was finishing a minor league game, and we were playing that game. It was the craziest day. Bo Jackson, Notre Dame, we played, and Vanderbilt in a doubleheader back-to-back in a tournament. And the first baseman for Notre Dame, I've been watching and rooting for winning the national championship in the fall, with our right fielder's father being Jeff Torborg, the manager of the New York Yankees. This is all on the first day of my college baseball career.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's
Bo
crazy.
Jackson, manager of the Yankees, Vanderbilt, Notre Dame first baseman. They had won the national championship football that fall. Yeah. So it was
That's a fun day.
And I got 4 hits that day.
I did have 4 hits that day.
Let's go. Who's going first?
Let's kick this off with Cassidy.
Cassidy, Bella Vrita, as we explore the superpower of integrous influence, not pitching, hooking, closing, yuck, but what does it look like when heart-centered, sophisticated people come together and yes should actually happen? So Bella's going to be anybody you want to be to illustrate this. She could be an ideal client. She could be a charitable fundraising partner. Heck, she could be somebody famous like Oprah Winfrey or Warren Buffett. Anybody, Cassidy, that you'd want her to be. It doesn't have to be a sales yes. It doesn't have to be the ultimate yes. It could even just be yes for a longer conversation. So Cassidy, who would you like Bella to be that you're going from hello to yes with?
Yeah, so I'll put it into business context. I mean, a conversation I oftentimes have, which is usually under 3 minutes, is sort of an introductory, what do you do? I explain I'm an insurance broker and, how do you develop business? It's sort of what you described, Sean. It's, in my
Cassie, you're gonna role play that with Bella if that's cool. And so who would you like Bella to be that you're going from hello to yes with? Somebody buying insurance or some business owner or something else?
Yeah, we'll call Bella general counsel for Fortune 100 company.
Bella, that's you.
General counsel. I'm the boss.
You're the boss.
Yeah.
Go check the score and come back and deliver it to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Bella.
Oh, hi, Bella. So yeah, in my world, what I like to do as an insurance broker is show you value, show that I've got technical proficiency to help you within your organization. You buy insurance to protect the company. One of the ways that I like to develop business and create relationships is to really show you how I can make your insurance program perform better. And that's not just believing that I'm a great insurance broker, but rather let me go through a diligence process, right? I'd ask you to execute it.
I'm curious, if you could tell me a story of someone that you went in and maybe you evaluated and something that you were surprised you were even able to do for them.
Yeah. So thank you. It's a good question. I've got a new client and talked about a diligence process to review the program and very quickly found that there was exclusionary language in the program that exposed them to an uninsured loss. So I didn't expect to see that, but it had the startle factor to tell that general counsel and that organization that there were significant problems to their insurance program that were previously undisclosed.
Wow. And how long did it take you to discover something like that?
Yeah, so our diligence process is usually, a matter of 60, 120 hours of labor that we put into the process. We're sizing up exclusionary language, whether a program is properly priced, whether you're with the right insurer partners. So I would say there's 4 or 5 components that I look at, but typically that, like I said, at 60, 120 hours, the beauty of our process, or what I like to do with clients, is I can oftentimes come back to you, and 1 out of 10 times I'd say everything's perfect. There's no exclusionary language. It's priced properly. You're with the right partners. And that's good sleep medicine for a general counsel or a CFO. But sometimes to come back and say, here's 3 or 4 things that I would do differently. And the beauty of my process is, number 1, it's confidential. Nobody knows that the diligence exercise is happening. But number 2, I could come to the end and I could tell you, here's 6 or 7 things I do differently. Doesn't mean you have to hire me. It means you have, again, that sleep medicine. You're aware of the holes and pitfalls of the current program. And if your brother-in-law is your insurance broker and you can never sever that relationship, so be it. At least and you're going to be better off with that knowledge.
That sounds good. Cassidy would definitely like to set something up and have a little bit longer of a conversation, if that would be okay.
Thank you.
Cassidy, wonderful work. Bella, who's following up Cassidy?
Following up Cassidy is Chris.
Chris, who would you like Bella to be, please?
Which Chris?
Oh, you, Chris Ballin. Sorry.
Okay. I will take fairly traditionally, a client of mine is a family-owned, privately held business.
Cool. About how big, Chris? How much revenue, how many employees?
Oh, varies.
So
I would say, 50 employees, maybe 10 million of revenue.
All right.
10 million of revenue. Okay. All right. Hello, this is Bella.
Hi, Bella. My name's Chris Fallon. Wanted to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm a holistic, fee-based financial planner who specializes in working with family-owned and operated companies like yours. And I'd like to introduce you to our value proposition as a fee-based planner to share with you what we call financial management oversight. And what that means is we take an approach to look at business succession from an estate planning, tax planning, and ultimately next ownership viewpoint. And we do that holistically, of opinion of where we think we can provide value, or where you may be unaware of dangers by lack of planning and strategy in your existing situation. With that, we look at things such as taxes, such as income replacement, key executive strategies for the next ownership group, whether that's family or not, and making sure that process, transacts in a smooth manner as it possibly could be. And so I'd like to see if you'd be open to a 30-minute conversation to get into a little bit more detail with that.
That sounds pretty insightful and seems like it makes sense. So I guess why not? Awesome. Great job, Chris. Great job, Chris. Great job, Cassidy. And now we'll get to the feedbackers, otherwise known as judges. And judges, this is the time in the show that we get to give back in the form of feedback. And so it's going to be 30 seconds of feedback for either Cassidy or Chris, something that they did great, something that they could do to improve, and then like a little next step. Is that next step you'd rather go to the dentist and have a root canal than have a longer conversation with Cassidy or Chris? Hopefully no one's wanting a root canal on what is today? Same Monday or Tuesday? I don't even know. But either way, nobody wants a root canal. But maybe that next step is a little mocha chocolate and a little croissant at Starbucks for a longer meeting. But if that's not enough time, maybe you're going to rent a seafood salad. Unless you're a vegan, of course. Maybe you're having a vegan salad. But if that's not enough time, you would be willing to rent a private jet. Of course, stopping pick up Brian Kent because he did invite you here and fly anywhere in the world to have the longest meeting possible with Cassidy or Chris. Let's kick this off with the other Chris. And Chris McMullen, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Cassidy?
Absolutely. I think that Cassidy provided a really thoughtful breakdown of the process of, I believe you said it was 110 to 120 hours of review and providing suggestions. I think that's an exceptional way when you get an opportunity to sit down with somebody and you offer them a picture with some guidance that really engages them and brings them in, and then they want to do the things that will ultimately grow your own end of the business. So I think the providing a picture and putting the work in up front is really a sharp attitude.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Chris. Great job. And the next step would be maybe a cup of coffee, a little dinner, something else. What do you got?
Well, I think most importantly, the next step is always to try and or the coffee or dinner. But to my mind, the key is always trying to get face to face with somebody. As much as these Zoom conferences have made our lives a whole heck of a lot easier, sitting down in the same room as somebody and actually getting to know them is really how the trust is built.
Agreed.
Cool. Let's go. Thank you for that, Chris.
Let's go. Crystal, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Chris Fallon?
All right. I thought you did a really great job. I like how you really did role play where you put yourself in the position of talking to someone that you were selling your business to. So I thought that was a really, really great thing. I thought you also did a good job of highlighting what you could bring to the table and how you would help that small business grow and then move on to the next steps of potentially selling to move on to other things in their life. So I thought you did a really great job of highlighting what you could do for them and how you could help them, and then also setting up the next steps on how you move forward with that process.
Crystal, thank you for that.
Yes.
Next step would be a little cup of coffee, a meal, something more. What do you got, Crystal? Maybe some martial arts training?
Yeah, well, I would definitely look forward to, me personally, because I own a small business, a mom and pop business, I would want to sit down with you and explore, like, what does that actually look like? What does growing my business look like? Or what does selling my business look like? And so I would love to sit down and in any kind of meeting, coffee or meal or anything like that, and just explore the opportunities for being able to do that.
Cool. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal. Let's go, Joey. Joey, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Chris?
I thought it was well proposed. Chris, did a good job explaining all of the different ins and outs of the industry, and potentially, I would like to see a little bit more of maybe a personal touch if I had to give a little bit of feedback for constructive purposes. How to frame that up is, putting yourself in potentially somebody's shoes that you're trying to sell to, getting to understand, their focus of the world, or, if they have children or whatnot, to help utilize that from that angle. But all in all, I think you did a great job. It was very informative. So good work.
Joey, thank you for that. The next step would be, I don't know, a trip around the world. It might be a cup of coffee, a meal. We got Joey for the next step.
I'm always up for a trip around the world. So let's go.
Not confused, Joey. Not confused.
Exactly. No doubt. I mean, obviously, the next step would be, at minimum, sometime. I'm a big face-to-face type of person when all possible. If you're local with who you're reaching out to, obviously, at minimum of a cup of coffee to actually get in front of the person and sit down and look them straight in the eye and let them know they're really, you're in their best interest, not just trying to sell them on something to get the next, feather in the cap. So,
awesome. Thank you for that, Joey. Bella.
Thank you for that, Joey. And let's go, Mr. Brian Kent. How about your 30 seconds of feedback for Chris Fallon?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what Joey said, I think, Chris is so likable that he's able to have a conversation and like him anyway, even though it may not be personal to start out with. But that would be my only advice with regards to building that emotional rapport, just some sort of personal aspect. But again, I think the way that Chris presents it is not really selling anything to the person, but how can they help them in the future? And, not per se asking for anything in return, not asking for a sale, just having a conversation to see if they're a well-suited partner that he can help them in the future.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Mr. Brian Kent. And Brian, what would the next step be? A little cup of coffee, perhaps a meal, maybe the Chegg, Brian, or something else. What do you got?
Yeah, I think maybe the Chegg. No, I'd say with Chris Fallon, it would be around the gob for sure to talk about it and see what happens at the end of it.
Or maybe surfing in wind-swept and sand off the coast of New Jersey, right? As we have.
Yeah.
And Brian's a great surfer, for those that don't know and understand this, for real. So awesome, Brian. Brian, you know what time it is? The one and only Bella Verita wants to stick it to me. Bella, over to you.
That is true. Brian, this is your first show, so you may not know what happens at this time, but this is the time that I get to put my co-host on the hot seat in a scenario that he has no idea about, because I always cook them up as the show has been going on. I've been writing a few ideas. Brian, ultimately, you get to choose what scenario Sean goes from hello to yes on. You can change anything about my scenarios, or you can scrap them all together and come up with something much, much harder on your own. Are you ready to hear what I have for today?
I am ready.
Okay. Option number one, since Sean was talking about Bo Jackson, is I thought option number one is Sean could go from hello to yes with Bo Jackson to donate $100,000 to Crystal's child rescue charity. So that is option number one. Option number two, at the end of this playoff season, hopefully at the end of the World Series, Pete Alonso is up for contract. And I would like to see my team, the Houston Astros, go to the World Series next year. So option number two is Sean would go from hello to yes with Pete Alonso to leave the Mets and go to the Houston Astros instead. So that is option number two. And then option number three is I thought Cassidy spoke really well. I'm sure there's some insurance conventions that he would be a great speaker for. And so option number three is Sean would go from hello to yes with ABC National Insurance Convention to be a speaker on their stage. So those are the three options I got for you today, Mr. Kent. Any of those tickle your fancy, or do you have something much harder you would like to see Sean do? It could be anything you want.
Nobody wants Pete Alonso, so let's do Pete Alonso and Houston Astros.
I love you, Brian.
Unbelievable. Let's go Astros. All right, so I am who from the Houston Astros? The GM, right? And who's going to be Pete Alonso?
Oh yeah, who do you want to pay Pete Alonso, Brian?
Let's do Chris McMullen. I have a feeling he may be the toughest.
Oh, yes, Chris. Yes.
This is so filthy and disgusting. And Brian. Okay. So, hi, is Mr. Alonso available?
And so I'm playing the role of Mr. Alonso just to make sure. Pete Alonso?
Yeah, so are you up for this?
I'm up for it. Yes.
Okay, so hey, is Mr. Alonso available?
Well, I suppose it depends on who's calling.
Mr. Alonso, this is John Smith, the general manager of the Houston Astros. We had a 3-minute conversation scheduled for today. It's still a good time.
Absolutely. Now's a great time.
Yeah. So, Mr. Alonso, thanks so much. I know you know who you are. I just want you to know I know who you are. Really grateful to have this conversation. And my question to Mr. Alonso is, I know lots going on, but what prompted you to have interest in having this conversation with me? Very grateful for it, but what's the why behind it, please, Mr. Alonso?
Well, the why behind it is because, well, we just wrapped up a series against the Phillies, and I played very well and beat up on Chris McMullen's team. So I thought now would be a good time to explore my options on the market.
For sure. Yeah, you did fantastically, and this is what you do. So, but can I ask this, like, what are you looking for? Obviously money, right? To be appropriately compensated. There's no question about it. But like, what's the why behind the ultimate legacy of Pete Alonso? How does money fit in, impact? Like, what are the things that you're looking for? I'm sure money, I'm sure the ability to win championships, but anything else that's in there for you, Mr. Alonso?
Well, the why for it behind me would be, obviously there's some portion of it that is financial, but looking at an organization that has had the consistent success in recent years that the Houston Astros have had is why that team would be one of the teams on my short list. Have an opportunity to play at a high level at an organization that has had a lot of success in recent years and be an asset to that organization.
And so we have that. Anything else that you're particularly looking for and where you're going to be next, including if it's staying with the Mets?
Well, certainly my time with the Mets, I've done quite well here. But I think one of the keys is somewhere that I can envision myself being long term. Take my family to and enjoy the ride moving forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Alonso. And just final, so I'm not here to pitch you something, and I know we're close to time, but it's an environment that resonates with your heart.
Lived in Houston. That is certainly an area that I can see myself being happy. But what I really crave is a cohesive community for where I'm going to be. And so, I hope that that's something that can be shown to me in Houston.
Yeah. Well, okay, Mr. Alonso, in our final, 30 seconds or so, can I share a couple quick things then that may, make some sense to you or not?
Absolutely.
So, listen, you know who the Houston Astros are, and you come from a rich tradition also with the New York Mets. They may not have won championships consistently like the Yankees, but there's a deep fan base and a deep abiding love. And I have great respect for the New York Mets. I would never say anything to denigrate them. What we have going on in Houston here is something really special, though, right now. The country is divided, a lot of really fascinating things that go on, but the sense of community, connectivity that exists here in Houston, Texas in general as a state, it's a really, really special place. Heart, generations, family, impact are very, very present. And we at the Astros, since we're talking to you, are very committed to your being here. If that's something that touches your heart, we understand that you are the best power hitter in baseball. You've hit more home runs than Aaron Judge since you came into the league. And we are very clear that our ballpark is more conducive to home run hitting than Citi Field. We're very clear that the Houston Astros are going to compete for the division year in, year out. And that's what we're committed to. We're also committed to demonstrating a culture and a family dynamic that has emerged for the Mets. Again, we're never going to knock something that's not true or try to manipulate. Very true and very clear, but generationally, our commitment is to players. And I do bring this one topic up, very briefly, Mr. Alonso, but we're really surprised the Mets didn't sign you before now. And we really think that's a mistake because of everything you've brought to that franchise. And as you consider all the positive things said about the Mets, we'd hope that would be consideration of yours. And we would want to sign you to a contract that makes you one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid player in baseball from now until you retire. So if there's some resonance here, we'd love to schedule a trip to bring you out to Texas, to let you feel the place. And if not, we'll have to have a longer conversation. Come on out. But if you're ready to come on out, we got a private jet waiting for you. An incredible time out here for you and your family. So, Mr. Alonso, how would that resonate with you to send that jet, schedule a time once the season's over, and hopefully win the World Series to bring it out to Houston?
Well, that sounds like a wonderful opportunity. I'd love to take advantage of. Please do. Yes, absolutely.
Hey, listen, go get them, bury those Dodgers, finish this thing out, go win the World Series, and let's get you to Houston. Thank you, Mr. Alonso.
All right, that was tough to pretend to not be a Phillies guy, but I played along.
Out of role. So, Chris, how'd I do as the Houston GM having a conversation with Pete Alonso and in a situation that makes me sick? But yes, over to you.
I think what you did there was that you keyed into my responses and laid out a plan for how you were gonna show me how the things that I valued were similarly important in Houston and within the Astros organization.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Chris. And that was interesting, odd, twisted by Bella Verita and Brian Kent. And Chris, how was your time overall? Great job today on the Heart of Influence of Brian Kent.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, this was a fun experience, something a little different that keeps me on my toes.
Cool. Well, great job, Chris. Appreciate you. Cassidy, really appreciate your fun fact from one child of hippie to another. Congratulations on surviving that journey. And Cassidy, please, how was your time today on Brian Kent's Heart of Influence?
It was dynamite. Yeah, I learned a lot. I thought that role play there was really cool. I picked up a lot of sort of thematic stuff. I think compliments, the thank yous. You asked a lot of questions, Sean, about what Pete Alonso wanted, and it was things beyond money and culture. So thematically, I picked up a lot today in terms of the conversation. So thank you for having me.
Oh, great job, Cassidy. Appreciate you. Joey, wonderful to connect. Appreciate you and your heart, your mastery. And Joey, how was your time today on Brian's Heart of Influence?
It was amazing. It was amazing. The role playing you just did was amazing, and how you focused on the why and the feeling and emotions that are involved in major decisions like changing, cities and locations. So that was great. Other than just talking about, hey, we're going to pay you $1 billion to swing a baseball bat or throw a baseball. So you really connected with the heart. So thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Great job. And Bella Verita.
Let's go. How about your baseball friend, Chris, sitting in that participant seat, which is not easy. But how was your time with us on the Heart of Influence?
Absolutely amazing. Honestly, Brian, thank you for the invitation. Great meeting everyone here, the feedback. You can never not keep learning, right? So this is awesome. So thank you for having me.
Chris, thanks for being here. Great institution, St. John's, for sure, by the way, as well. And by the way, did you ever hear of Anthony Criscolo? Know of that person? He was a catcher, 4-year starter.
What year was?
He would have graduated in 92. So he was the Big East Rookie of the Year in the spring of 89.
Just slightly before my time there. But
great guy, great career, yeah.
Amazing guys. I can't say I remember meeting them at any alumni events or anything, but fantastic history between both of those schools in the baseball world for sure. So
and cool. And one more cool fun fact, Chris. So a guy, I mean, so many amazing intersections came from a really small town called Richfield Park. That's where this guy Anthony Criscolo is from. That was the catcher at St. John's. A catcher on his same Little League team, who was a 12-year-old when Anthony and I were 10-year-olds, was Garrett Teal. Garrett played Double-A with the Dodgers, and Garrett's son, Kyle, was a first-round draft pick. So, another kid we played in Little League with Virginia last year. So, a lot of little baseball fun facts from a very tiny little town. So, thanks for being here, though, Chris. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. Bella Verita.
And then I think... because I was
Crystal.
Yeah, okay. Crystal, thank you for being here, doing incredible philanthropic work, doing beautiful things. Thank you so much for being here today. And how was your time with us on Brian Kent's Heart of Influence? You're on mute, Crystal.
Sorry about that. I'm really glad I got to be on the show today because it was to watch you go from hello to yes was like masterful. And the formula, like I learned a formula today on how you did that. And the fact that you spent the first 2/3 of your 3-minute pitch asking questions so that you knew what they were looking for. And so you knew how to like structure your pitch so that it would like be specifically pointed towards what they wanted. I thought that was great. And then you did it. I mean, it was just awesome. So I appreciate that I got to witness that and be a part of that. And I'm going to take that and use it. And so it was great. I'm glad I got to see it.
Crystal, can I ask you for one favor then, since you got some value today?
Yeah.
Don't sell Bella knives. Thank you. Thank you.
I already put it on the do not sell list.
Yes, do not sell, DNC, all the things. So thank you for that, Crystal. Brian Kent, brother, like just resonates with heart, authenticity, this whole crew, because it's a mirror of you. Brian, thank you. And your final today.
Oh, no, thank you guys. This is my first Heart of Influence. And I could not have asked for a better crew. So I really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here. And, you know, hopefully this is not the last interaction of everybody here for sure. You know, like I said, everybody's leads with heart and as integrous as anybody I know. So, and growth minded. So, yeah, stay connected for sure.
Thank you, brother. Final thank yous for everybody. Got a couple of things because of Brian, all your attendance here today. We're having a webinar with Allison Armstrong on October 22nd, and Allison, I fancy, many fancy. Tony Robbins is even recognized as great a relationship expert as exists on the planet. In fact, his relationship work is rooted and founded in her work. And we have pushing 3,000 people already registered for that webinar. Our gift, October 22nd. And we profess this. This will be the greatest webinar you didn't pay for that you've ever experienced. That's the standard in terms of quality of outcomes from it. It's called Mastering Men, Women, and Money. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. And just Allison's a rock star. We also have our group influence book. I've had the privilege of speaking in a lot of places, doing a lot of stuff. I wasn't born that way. There's a science to it that I've been developing and studying and implementing and accelerating for 27 years. That's our gift as well. And then final, we have a business acceleration session. Sometimes we're like a little infomercial conversation. No. This will blow your mind for helping you see what you don't see, no matter how successful you are, about where we could take our game, our world, our mission to the next level. People say that all the time, but this actually delivers. Belrita, your final.
Absolutely, Brian. Phenomenal job for your first Heart of Influence. Could not have hit it out of the park better. All puns intended. But really phenomenal job.
Like Mark Vientos' grand slam against the Dodgers today, Brian. Just like that.
Just like that. Yes, just like that. Phenomenal job. Definitely connect with each other because that's what this is all about. Look forward to seeing you guys all in the future. And back to you, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah. And our final today. Let's go Mets. We end every show by saying this. I may be physically blind, which I am, but I'm absolutely certain as the possibilities will often sit right here, the acceleration of our financial abundance, our time freedom, but most importantly, our impact, our influence in the world so often sits right there in front of us. But at some level, sighted or not, Bella and Brian, at some level, we were all blind.
And just learning to see.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.